It is spark plug day. We're gonna do spark plugs, coil packs, and if I have time, I'm gonna borescope the cylinders on this thing just for fun. So let's get started. Let's go over some of the tools that I'm choosing to use for this job. You certainly don't need all of these. You can get away with just a ratchet and a spark plug socket for this whole thing probably, but these are some of the items that are helpful for me. First of all, this is the kit I got from TRQ, and I'll link it. It comes with the 4 spark plugs and 4 new coil packs. So I just have them hanging out here until I need them. You need or should have a torque wrench that goes low enough. I'll put the torque setting for the spark plug on the screen. And then some pliers, socket, ratchet. I use these for almost everything when I need leverage. I think I showed you guys these in other videos, but you can just get under something and lift it. So my thought was if I needed it for the coil pack, for electrical connectors, sometimes that's useful. On this particular car, you have to remove some evap lines. So there's hose clamps. They're pretty easy to get off, but this is helpful, or just a regular pair of pliers. I use this to take off the 10mm bolts for the coil packs, but again, you can just use a socket and ratchet. These things are awesome. I use these every time I do a spark plug job. They are magnetic. They have those neodymium magnets and they swivel. They're just awesome. I assumed I have 2 that are pretty, wide application use, but it wasn't thin wall enough, and it was imperial size 9/16, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 9/16. So you really need 14mm, but more importantly than that, it should be thin wall. So I got this on Amazon. I'll link to it, and I checked. It does fit in the cylinder spark plug hole. So definitely need that. Otherwise, these just won't fit in there. Actually, the 9/16 one will, or this one will fit in there, but it's really tight. So I would be nervous about it getting stuck. So. Especially if you have started this job when the engine's warm and it's taking you a while. I mean, it could get tighter and tighter to the point where now it's stuck in there. So just something to think about. Just get the right tool. That's pretty much it. Also where is it? Spark plug gap tool. I'm going to link to a better one than this in the description. These are old school. I really wouldn't be messing with these iridium plugs and like bending the electrodes with these. I more just use this to check, and I did do that. These specify, I think, 44 thousandths, and most of the ones I checked were around 42, 43, so close enough with this gauge. I did find one that was like 37. That to me tells me that maybe it was dropped or whatever. So I did have to open up one of them. Not ideal, but I'd rather it be gapped correctly. All right, let's start by taking the cover off. It's just a press fit. These things here go in the holes. You'll see them. It's pretty easy. Let me bring you in a little closer. So here's what you're dealing with. Now, most 4 cylinders are actually a little bit easier. Not that this is hard, but there's just some hoses in the way. So you're going to have to remove some of these clips and just move the hose. And then these should be a couple 10mm bolts on the coil pack. So let's get going. All right, I'm going to get these coil pack bolts off. You certainly don't need an impact. I just like using these power tools. You can pretty much use any type of pliers, but I'm just going to use these here. And then pull that off, and you can see now this is sort of out of the way. You could do one at a time if you want, but I'm just going to get everything out of the way. All right. Get those out of the way. You don't even probably need these pliers, but I'm just trying these out. I'll link to them below, but they're just for removing electrical connectors. And the engine's also a little hot, so kind of helpful. So remove all of those, and then we'll start taking the plugs out, or I'm sorry, the coil packs out. These are pretty easy to remove, so you can see there's a lot more room now. Before I take the spark plugs out, I'm going to take some compressed air and just clean out this area. These are coming up really easily, so you don't really need any kind of puller. If they are hard to get out, you can take some flat tip screwdrivers and come in from both sides and lift it up, or maybe a plastic pry tool or something. So let's see. These look pretty good, but they're cheap enough to replace. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take an extra one. I know these are working, and I'll throw it in the trunk. So if you're going on a road trip and you happen to get a random misfire, you could move a good coil pack around and see if that fixes it. But I mean, with new ones going in, that's pretty unlikely, but it's just good practice to keep a spare part. All right, let's keep going and get all of these coil packs out. Usually I just blow air, but there was so much junk that I just wanted to get it out now, so. All right, before I take the plugs out, I'm gonna blow out the area just to make sure no debris falls in the cylinders. All right, we'll start with number 1 cylinder. All right, let's take a look here. Looks pretty good. Looks like 75,000 miles. I had already taken out number 4, so they're all out now. And I think what I'm going to do is borescope the cylinders and just take a look at them. I'm going to cover most of the holes here. Nice honing on the cylinder walls. Those look good. Not a lot of carbon at all. Let me go in a little further and I'll turn around and see if we could look at the valves. Not sure what that is. It's reflective, so maybe a little scratch. All right, let's do number 2. All right, while we're doing the plugs, I'm gonna go ahead and just see if I can do a compression test. I was just gonna do it dry, and the engine's not even hot, so it's not ideal, but I just want to see the consistency, whether it's low or high. All right, let's check number 2. I had done this cylinder a minute ago, but I forgot to record it, and it was like 190, so the battery might be getting a little sluggish here. Cylinder 3. I should have the battery on a boost pack or something, but I'm almost done. Let's see what it does. And just so you know, I'm putting my foot on the accelerator full to the floor. That usually will signal the car to go into clear flood mode, where it's not going to inject gas. If you have access to your fuel pump relay or fuse, you can also pull those, but this is working. Yeah, real sluggish. I should probably have put it on a battery pack. $180. I'm gonna go put a boost pack on it and see if it changes it. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, little better, but I'm not sure that this boost pack is really working. when you screw these hoses in, it's kind of awkward because they're wobbly, right? But it's just an O-ring. You really don't need, I mean, the most you can tighten this with the hose is as tight as it needs to be. So you just drop it in, try to hold it as straight as possible. And as soon as I get a couple threads, like right now I can tell there's a thread, I pull on it straight so I know I'm doing it straight. And then when it's tight, I can tell I can't do it anymore. I just do it as much as I can. That's it. Connect the gauge. Yeah, pretty much 180. All right, well, I'll run those numbers a little bit later and see what's normal and what's not. I think for a non-warm engine dry compression test, it's probably okay. I mean, at least they're all similar. Yeah, so that's sort of how you would do a compression test. Ideally, again, it would be warmed up. And also, you would do a wet test where you just squirt a little oil in there. And also, I would suggest having your battery on an actual tender or boost pack that you know works, and that will just help with the cranking amps. All right, let's get this thing back together. I'm just going to let it roll. I might do a time lapse, but it's pretty much the opposite of what you saw. So I'm going to just get these in there. All right, I have my gear wrench, torque wrench here. It's almost at the very lowest setting it can go, but 14 foot-pounds is what it calls for. It's actually a range, or let's see, yeah, or 19 Newton meters. Just make sure to align the bolt hole in the right orientation, and you could put a little dielectric grease on here or some silicone on the outside, but I'm gonna just put them in how they go. See if you can see that. Yep. And then don't forget to plug in. All right. What I'm doing is I'm pushing on the coil pack while tightening it, so it's not like oblong, because there's some pushback resistance there. Off camera, I ended up tightening this last one. I forgot my camera wasn't rolling. So here's a connection map if you lost your place of where the hoses go. And I'll zoom out and show you a full picture here, but there's one there, right here. And then I ended up having to disconnect this and this and just sort of moving that stuff out of the way to get my hands on this plug to push it in. I probably could have done it without it, but it's not like it was hard to move these things. These types of clamps, you just literally squeeze with pliers and move. So backing up here, so if you want to take a screenshot or something, here's the total hose mapping picture. And you can see the new coil packs and everything's secure. I want to show you this cool tool I bought a while back. I've never had a chance to use it. It's kind of a novelty. Like, I don't know if I'd really ever use this, but anyway, it's a spark plug tester. You can put two in at once and you just turn it on and it applies voltage. So let me show you what it looks like. If you've never seen a spark plug working like in real time, it's actually pretty cool. Let's see here. And you can control the voltage. It's just neat. Look at that. Started right up. Give it a little rev. Sounds nice. Doesn't seem to be misfiring or anything. Not that I would expect it to. Thanks for tagging along, guys. Hopefully this was helpful to some degree. Spark plugs are not that hard, but hopefully you learned something about while you're in there, you know, borescoping your cylinders if you can. I'll link to that scope I have. It's pretty inexpensive. And then a compression check if you want. By the way, this is my new Android 10.1 inch screen for under 200 bucks. plug and play. I didn't have to splice any wires. It's awesome. I'll put out a video on that shortly.